All right, Ashley. Ashley, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
Right here in Leslie County.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
And tell me about your family.
My family.
You had both your parents growing up?
No, I actually was raised by my grandpa, my mama, which is my mom's parents. My mama, she passed away when I was pretty young. So I left my papa trying to raise me and my mom's little sister, which is actually younger than me, 2 years younger than me. And so we're more like sisters than her being my little aunt. They played poker here all the time. Like that's the reason that was my papa's dream, I guess, was to be a bootlegger and just. But no, he was a straight up hustler. He passed away back in June. It seems like everything's fell apart since then, but yeah. My mom, she was around, but like I said, my grandparents raised me. Been with them. I remember them telling me, they used to tell me all the time they adopted me with a handshake. So like I was Mama and Papa's baby. My mom was pretty much still a kid. She had them kids. I guess you could say that. She ran buck wild all the time, getting phone calls from the hospitals, jails, and yeah. There was a few close calls. We about lost her.
And how would you describe your childhood?
My childhood, as much as love, like being loved, I know that I was loved as a kid, but sort of lacked that attention, especially in the male, like daddy issues.
Where was your dad?
My dad, like I said, I didn't meet him until I was 7 or 8. Me being able to have a really very specific memory about that day. And then I only have very few memories of him. I know where he's at, and I talk to him all the time, like if I run into him, but he's just been another person in my life, you know what I mean? And his brother actually has been in prison, federal prison, for the past 30 years. So when he comes out, he contacts me, and I remember before he went in, he got out and went back in for parole violation, whatever, and that's when he done the most part of his time. So I remember being 13, 14-year-old, a young adult, but at that time, I was already a full-grown woman, you might as well say. My mom, like I said, she was pretty wild. She developed drug habits upon drug habits, and drug abuse is pretty bad, especially on that side of the family. And then you asked me about my dad. He's got drug problems. But his brother, like I was saying about his brother coming home from prison, he'd come in, and that's the only one out of that family. Like my grandmother, my dad's mom, has never seen neither one of my kids, which that's fine with me, you know what I mean? They're the ones missing out on that. That's, my kids, they'll ask things, of course, kids are curious. But they'll ask things, and I'll show them pictures, and they live here in the same county. It's not like they live states away, you know what I'm saying? But they have all the technology now to where you just pick up a phone or a tablet, and you're right there with them, just as good. But that's their loss. Anyways, my mom, she developed drug habits and stuff. My papa was a bootlegger, that's how he made his money. He had pool tables.
Making moonshine?
Well, he didn't make moonshine. He had bought moonshine off the people that made it, which was a good friend of his, you know what I mean? So I guess I remember him being passed out in the house or something, drunk, and people stop in, wanting to buy moonshine. Me, 11 or 12 years old, going in the house, getting underneath the kitchen sink, and getting ever how much jars of moonshine they wanted, which I think is now it's $20 a quart. Back then, when I was probably 11, it might have been $10, $11 a quart. And I'm talking like some stuff that would sweep you off your feet, knock you slick out, and you won't remember what you done the next day. But yeah, my mom, she developed more than just drinking habit. She used pharmaceutical prescription medicine, and so as I got older, I graduated high school. Actually, I was 16, Actually, I was 15 and turned 16 that following September. So I was probably 12 or 13 when my mom started. She'd have me go in there. She used to live behind the house here, and she used to make me go into the bedroom, and there was whatever 2 or 3 guys in there, and at that time I think I smoked pot. I used to sneak around, smoke pot, because I never had no boss. My papa was always drunk after my mama passed away, and then my mom, she just buck wild, want me to get buck wild with her, so that's more drugs for her. You understand? So at that time, she was pretty much like, I remember being at her house, behind the house where I was raised, and guys coming in, and I can remember back, as I got older, I realized what she was doing, because when I'd go to school, kids would make fun of me, like, oh, well, which one is your mom and you doing today, or which one are you all sharing for drugs today? And like I said, I may have smoked pot at that time, but and drank a little bit. Me and my friends from school was pretty wild. My mom's little sister, which I call her my sister too. But so as
this pimping out of a daughter.
And as I got older, when I got older, I wanted to experience in all these different drugs. Well, back when she was growing up, there was stuff like LSD, shit that I've never heard of.
How long did that go on, that you were doing that for your mom?
For my mom, up until maybe 14, 15, until I realized, and I had developed habits myself other than, just smoking weed. I was like, well, if I'm going to get made fun of, I switched schools twice. If I'm going to get made fun of and I'm going to let other people mistreat my body and mistreat myself like that, then I'm going to do it for my own use, And actually today, like, I know y'all have probably heard of OnlyFans or like Pornhub and, sites like that. Well, look, right now, of course, there's no kind of work here right now, unless you're a dude and you can get out in the hills, or you're running drugs, and I'm not trying to go back to jail, you know what I mean, at all. I try to do a little things different. I know I failed at a few of them. I try to do a little things differently than what my mom done for me, because I got a daughter of my own, you know what I mean? So I started doing it for myself. Me and my friend, I had a friend that lived not far from here. She lived not far from here. Me and her were best friends. And as years went by, Papa quit drinking, I guess he had mourned enough over my mama. So he quit drinking, sort of straightened up, and he got remarried. And it was me and my mom's little sister. Like I said, I call her my sister. Stayed here. We were wild. I remember we would drink, if we didn't have an alcohol, we would drink rubbing alcohol or mouthwash waiting on the school bus right over there. We'd wait on a school bus. Half the time we'd skip school because we couldn't go. We'd get so drunk on mouthwash and stuff that we would be nauseous, sick, So after I got kicked out of Leslie County School because of people making fun of me because of what my mom done, she sold me for her own drug habit. And back then I think it was OCs maybe. Now, that's a big part of the reason why I don't like staying here, like constantly around my daughter, because of the things that I do. I don't do it for drugs now. Used to, like I said, when I figured out why would I let her do me like that for her own benefit, that I was not born to be her sacrifice for her own fuck ups. You understand? So if I'm gonna have any kind of oopsie daisies in my life, I'm gonna do it on my own. I don't know, I guess that was maturity hitting me at a young age, and I didn't realize it at that time. You know what I'm saying? So
so the OnlyFans stuff that you do now is?
Yeah, well, I've done that for about 3 years now.
And you make good money doing this?
I make enough money to survive on, I don't used to. I was, before all that, because we're kind of behind on all the, the technology and stuff. I'd say you guys are more advanced than we are here. I used to, some of the old dudes that my mom had known from way back, they'd stop in and I'd go with them. Some of them, would pay me, like I got paid really good money. And that's, back then, I did have sort of a drug problem. Well, not a sort of, but I did have a drug problem, for real. That's what it was.
And what drugs were, was it the?
It was pain pills, pain medicine, opioids, plus marijuana. Let's see. But like the guys that I would go and, trade sexual favors, or some of them was weirdos, like, some of it was traumatic, for real, like, I don't know. Some of them just want you to clean because they're so old. That's all they can do is just admire a woman's body, which I think a woman's body is art. You know what I mean? I really do.
But they would have you clean?
Huh?
They would have you
clean some of them nude. They'd go out and spend spend probably like $100 and $200 on these nice outfits, toys. And like that stuff, that's expensive stuff. So, and you're getting to keep that stuff, and then they pay you $200 to clean, just walk around to look sexy. You know what I mean? So when I actually figured all that out on my own, I was like, well, Mom, you're on your own, Mom. You know what I mean? I'm not doing your dirty work no more. You can pull your pants down and do your own dirty work. Me and hers had a rough relationship on account of that. She tries to lie to me and tells me I'm crazy and da 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 da. Well, I didn't develop that habit as a small kid from nowhere. It just don't happen in a kid's head. Well, I think that I'm going to sell myself to old people, or because my body looks good, just for money,
Do you blame the role model that you had as a young girl, or do you blame the lack of opportunity here?
Both.
Yeah, both.
Both. I do. Both, because I have some friends which I've experienced meth, but like it's real bad around here right now. Like I said, my thing is pain pills. I'm not going to say that I don't do them now, because I do, but it's not as, like I said, I don't have to physically go out here with 90-year-old pervert Joe that can't get his shit working right. I can just pick up my phone, be in my bedroom jamming out like I'm feeling myself, you know what I mean? And just get on there. You can go live, and they pay. It's really good money, and they're not even there. They're another country away most of the time. Like yesterday, for instance, I was on there maybe 26 minutes, I think it was, actually, because it times you on your phone or device, whatever you're using. And I made $114, like when I got done calculating the bids on there. And, but yeah, there is definitely a lack of opportunity of any kind of jobs. I started in the medical field, actually. Let's see. I started out, like I said, I graduated high school at 15. So I had to go to vocational school to get extra credits for a nurse aid license. Well, I seen in the newspaper they were having this, the class start up at the nursing home in Hyden. Well, I done it there and took my state test in hazard. I got my CNA license. I worked my hours on it, got all my credits. I was making, and then I went advanced into school, got my LPNs, a licensed practitioner, or nurse practitioner. That's whenever I discovered pain medicine. I knew of it, of course, because my mom had been there so long on it. That's when I really discovered it, and I just had to take a step back. I looked at myself one day and I said, you know what, this is awful, because I loved that job. I did. You have to have a heart for helping, for real, to have a job like that. And that's something it comes back to me being good-hearted like that, is from me doing the things that had really actually happened to me that I regretted, and I hated my mom. Like, still again, I don't hate her, and I respect my mom. that's just the way that I was raised, you know, by her parents. You know, I do go by a set of morals, I like to think. I don't know, I'm a queer human being, really.
So do you have any regrets?
All kinds of regrets. I regret not staying at the nursing home and actually going on and getting my RNs, especially now with the world being the way it is. And down here, like, they lack of medical technology, medical staff all the time. I remember even having to go in and work 16 and 18-hour shifts. I've been killed. I had just had a baby, you know, my first kid. So I was at, so I kind of regret not staying there a little bit. But like I said, that's where I dabbled into pain medicine. That's when I developed my pain pill habit or whatever.
Do you ever consider leaving this part of the country?
All the time.
Taking your kids somewhere where you might have
absolutely all the time.
Future?
All the time. But the thing about that is I'm not good with, I'm not real comfortable with new things, maybe. I don't know how you would say that, change. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with meeting new people at all, I guess because of the things, like the things that me and my mom's been through. I've got all kinds of mental health issues on account of all that. And then for me to think, and I still try to tell myself that it was okay. Look at me now. She's done good for me. And that's kind of messed up that I even would think that way. But yeah, I've actually not taken me and my kids. No, I've actually just thought about getting up, packing me a bag that I can pack, and just walking off and never looking back.
What about your kids?
I know that my kids are taken care of. My little girl, her dad, I couldn't ask for no better father. My son, he's 6. He's 6. His dad don't really have anything to do with him at all. So he's sort of the man of the house, actually. He has been with my mom because I had to go to jail. He was 18 months old when I come home. I think he was 3 months old when I left. So he was 18 months old when I come home from jail. So he's been with my mom a little bit. That's probably why I don't have as much hate for her now. I've sort of let things go about it, about the way she done me when I was growing up. She was pretty abusive too, gosh. She still is a little abusive, no. But anyway, yeah, I know that my kids are well taken care of. I can't be the mom that they need, you know, and I talk to them about things like that. I don't whoop my kids. I don't discipline them. I let their nanny, which is my mom, or, you know, my little girl's dad do it. On account of where she was abusive. So, because the reason I've got another little boy, and that's another regret, is him. He was just born. I was doing real good in a clinic to keep me off pain pills. He was crying one night. And listen, this went on for 2 or 3 weeks. Me and my sister took him to every emergency room around. And so it was Laurel, Perry, Manchester, and then Hyden. We took them like 8 different times. So we took him twice on every one of them. And over in Perry County, we took him to the pediatrician, and that's when we found out he had pyloric stenosis and he needed immediate surgery. But what I was getting at is, I remember that baby. Me and my sister had walked him so much, and I love my kids. That's why my kids are placed where they're at, because I can't provide for them. I'm not adult enough. You know what I'm trying to get at? I'm not really sure what I can't put it in words, but.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 30. I just turned 30 in September. And, but yeah, I remember me and my sister took time about, every time Colson would eat a bottle, he would vomit it right back up. So I was getting aggravating, you know. He wasn't probably a month old. And I remember one night, because I told you my mom was abusive. This is one of the most regrets I have in my life, is letting my baby go, you know. I remember, because my mom again, she's abusive, and that's why I don't discipline my kids. I don't. So, and when I'm around them, I can tell I get real short-tempered with them. You know what I mean? So I don't whoop them because I'm afraid that I couldn't stop. I'm afraid because I see her come out at me every freaking day. I hate that, honestly. Again, like I said, I don't hate my mom at all. I respect her. It's my mother. She put me in this world. She can definitely take me out. And she's always told me that. I'm a firm believer of that. But no, the night that I had, I tried so hard to figure out what was wrong with my baby, you know, and I felt like I let everybody down because I couldn't get him to stop crying. He cried for 3 days straight. My sister couldn't. We scrubbed puke up, And I just remember, and like right now in my stomach, me telling you all this, I don't speak on it a whole lot. I remember holding his little arms and just squeezing him, and then I remember coming to, and I had to walk away. You know, I laid him down on a blanket on the floor, and the doctors actually acted like it was actually normal, and I was thinking to myself, that's not normal. You know, yes, it was normal when I was growing up because that was all I was used to. That's not normal. You don't, you know. So eventually I give him to his dad. That was his first son, his only child actually, and which I can go see him and stuff. I just feel like it's easier on the emotional attachment and all that stuff. That's something I really do regret. I regret not being in any of the three of my kids' life a lot more because I know how it is not having a mom and dad. I know how it is having to raise myself. And actually my 6-year-old, he's pretty dependent, you know. It hurts seeing him be independent like that because I know that he's just a kid. He should be allowed to have a childhood, you know. I didn't get to do that. I had to grow up really, really quick. And
what's the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
My most important lesson was, my most important lesson is, well, it's not really the life that you live, it's the life that you'll choose for yourself. So, I mean, and I'm just now actually learning that. Like I said, I'm 30. Listen, I was depressed when I turned 30 this year back in September, but I realized I'm still a child, you know, because I didn't get to have a kid. So the most important lesson is don't never fall in. They say history repeats itself, but don't never fall into that cycle. Don't listen to what other people says. Listen to what your own mind tells you to do. You know, just listen to your heart, I guess.
All right. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for sharing your story, and good luck with the rest of your life and wherever you go from here.
All right. Thank you
very much.
Thank you.